Hey, what's up? John Sonmez from simpleprogrammer.com. So I got this email from, I think it's Dugukan, that's what I'm going to go with. And he says, hey, John, so I know that you fast every day and I decided to give it a shot. The fat loss side of it is working. I keep muscle and lose fat and exercise 4 to 5 times a week. But the thing is, I get ill more often, not serious illness. I catch cold easily and the minor sicknesses like that. What is happening? Am I doing something wrong? So, little bit of background here. I basically eat 1 meal a day. You can check out my video on eating 1 meal a day. And I fast. I essentially fast until 5 o'clock every day. And I do all kinds of workouts. I run 40 plus miles a week and lift for 2 hours a day, 3 times a week. All of this in a fasted state. And I do fine. I do great. I end up gaining muscle and losing fat when I'm doing this. And I can actually gain fat if I want to, just by eating more calories in that single meal. So let me talk about this problem of making yourself sick here. First of all, I think that there takes some adaptation period for your body to be able to handle the fasting. And it may depend on the person. Again, I'm not a doctor. I can't really give you medical advice, so I don't know. I mean, it's probably going to depend on you to some degree. But I will say this, is that I have found that it takes about 2 weeks of being very strict on eating the 1 meal a day of fasting until 5 o'clock before your body starts to adapt. And as far as sickness and stuff, it may just be coincidence. I have not, in fact, I will tell you just from my personal experience, I have experienced less sickness, right? People around me get sick all the time and I come through it unscathed. I am not sick. And part of the reason why I think is because of the fasting. Ever since I've started doing the fasting, I have basically had an increased immune system. At least, again, this is my bias, but this is what I've been seeing in myself personally, is that I found that I'm less likely to get sick. And now I think part of that is because of the autophagy of basically when you fast, especially when you do it frequently or for a long period of time, what ends up happening is some of the weaker cells in your body end up dying and they're renewed by new cells, right? And so you sort of have this cleansing or this purging in your system. So that's my theory behind it. Again, I don't have any scientific evidence to prove that, but I actually think that you become stronger as far as becoming more resilient to illness. Now, if you get down to very low body fat percentages, right, or very, very low calorie where you're basically in starvation mode, some of your systems will shut down. There is definitely scientific evidence that shows that your immune response is hampered when you don't have enough calories, when you're extremely low body fat, or you're just in starvation mode. So you're more prone to get sick. I don't think that's the case if you're just, fasting to 1 meal a day and you're not doing like super extreme stuff. I mean, I'm doing some pretty damn extreme stuff, but I'm getting enough calories in that single meal that I'm eating, and I'm not at 4% body fat. So I think that's something to take into consideration. So what I would recommend is that you check this out for a little bit longer. If you think that you're getting sick, document this and actually see, it's very likely, if you're just feeling like you're getting sick more often, that may be different than actually getting sick. And if it's just a minor flu-like symptoms, one other thing that you might think about is that if you're restricting your carbohydrates and you're going into ketosis, there's something called a keto flu, which happens when your body's sort of in this transitory phase where it hasn't figured out how to use ketones yet. You're not what's called fat adapted, and your body's not producing enough ketones, and so you can kind of feel lightheaded, you can feel kind of sick to your stomach and feel like you have a flu, and that is pretty common. So a couple of ways to resolve that I found that can help fix that is that if you get enough of the potassium, magnesium, sodium, basically electrolytes. If you can find ways to do that. I think light salt is a real easy way to get potassium and the sodium, and it might even have magnesium in there, but you can supplement those 3 things. There's like rehydration type of bottles that you can buy that you just pour into your drink. I use that. You know, a lot of people use like Gatorades or Powerades or something like that. I find that the rehydration liquids are a little bit better because they're more scientifically designed to replenish those electrolytes. And when you get into ketosis, you tend to drop electrolytes, and so you end up losing sodium. You actually need to get more sodium and potassium and magnesium into your system. So that's a lot of times that's the cause. The other thing that you can do is that you can, ride it out, and once you get into ketosis and you've been there for a while, that those symptoms disappear. A lot of people say it can take up to a month. I have utilized exogenous ketones. So I'll point you to a product called Ketocana, I believe it's called. You can check it out here on Amazon, and it is basically exogenous ketones. It's basically beta hydroxybutyrate, I believe is what it is. And I found that can alleviate some of those symptoms. It can get you, because what it does is it gives you some ketones for your body to be able to consume and burn when you don't have any, right? Your body's not producing them efficiently yet. So when you're in this transitory phase where you're going from running on sugar or carbohydrates and you're going to running on ketones, your body hasn't figured out how to make enough yet. And so you can kind of hit this spot where you don't have enough of either. And so your brain kind of goes bloop, and you can kind of get into that keto flu. At least that's the kind of theory behind it. Again, there's not a lot of this has been well researched at this point, because this is just one of those. It's kind of a newer thing. There's more people doing this now, and keto diets, although they've been around for a while, haven't really been studied that much. But there's more and more research being done about this. But as far as I've been doing this for about 2.5 years now. I have not. I could say, over the time of 2.5 years, that I have found that my level of health, of even minor sicknesses, has been much higher. That I've had much more healthy life and have not gotten sick very often. So, your results may vary. Who knows? I can't say. It could be different for you. It might affect you differently if you're documenting it and you're constantly getting sick. Don't do it then. You don't have, there's other ways to live and to eat. You don't have to follow exactly what I'm doing, but I found it effective, and that's why I share it here. All right, if you like this video, go ahead and click that subscribe button below, and you can get all my videos on everything that I talk about. Just click that subscribe button. I'll talk to you next time. Take care.